Hi, everybody. Hi. Welcome. It is Monday, y'all. Yep, we've had a pretty productive morning, and we're going to have a pretty productive next 10 to 20 minutes talking about the programmatically correct. And in today's conversation, we're going to talk about programmatic media strategy. What I mean by that is we are going to talk about what is available to some spectrum. Okay, what can you target, what type of strategy you can include or think about when it comes to programmatic media. So for those who are on Instagram, hi, how are you? I do have this pretty cool slide that I'm going to share during this presentation. So bear with me, as this is the first time we're going to share full screen. But the reason why I wanted to talk to you about it is because I wanted to give you um, an idea of what type of targeting capabilities you can do when it comes to programmatic media. Very often, I have clients, friends, LinkedIn connection reach out to me and say, "Hey, have you heard of this partner? This is the type of targeting they're doing. This is the type of targeting they're allowing us to do or pitching us that they can do." And so I wanted to just talk about it. And for the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about different targeting capabilities. I do want to preface that next Monday we will not meet because I will be at the Programmatic IO conferences. So stay tuned for my recap for the following Thursday. So let's talk about programmatic media strategies. Again, hi Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are interested in seeing what I'm sharing, you feel free to hop onto the YouTube live, or to talk to check in LinkedIn. LinkedIn will show you as well the share that I will have on the screen. So here's what we can do. We can do a lot of things, but I've kind of divided it in tactics, what kind of tactics we can do, placement, where you can place the ad, and I want to also to talk about brand safety and creative messaging. So in the next couple weeks, we'll spend some time reviewing each and every single one of them. So in terms of tactic, what kind of tactics can you run in programmatic as a programmatic strategy, as a complement to whatever strategy you're running, or to test? We can do tactics are based from an audience targeting, location targeting. You can do contextual targeting. You can have native advertising. There's a lot more of tactics you can do, but I wanted to highlight those particular four ones as they're the most used or popular, if that's the proper term to use. So in terms of placement, there's quite a few, but here's how we regroup them at Ellen Parker Consulting. Um, Display, we're very familiar with display. Mobile placements, how to utilize mobile advertising or mobile marketing into your programmatic media strategy. Streaming videos in 2020, streaming has gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puff is increased by almost 200%. If you want to find out more information specifically today, I have 2 or 3 episodes where we cover connected TV and OTT inventory and how to use that as a performance channel. So check out the Programmatic Digest podcast for those episodes. They're available now. Streaming audio, Pandora, Triton, Spotify, you name it, iHeartRadio, iHeartMedia now. So those are the type of, we talked about tactic, and those are the type of placement where you can purchase the inventory and place the ad, place the message. Brand safety shouldn't be seen as a media strategy. It should be a requirement, like it should be mandatory to have brand safety implemented at all time. However, we decided to add it in this portion of the training because we want to highlight the importance of brand safety. So during the brand safety conversation, again, in the next couple of weeks, we will be able to assess and see the difference in brand safety partners. Why is it so important? What does pre-filtering means? What is post-filters means? What are brand safety when it comes to restrictive industry, like maybe the healthcare or education, adult or cannabis industry. So all of that, all of those conversations we'll be able to have. And the creative message, here's the thing with creative messaging. It can be a strategy and it should be a strategy. But the way our industry have looked at creative, yeah, Moat is a good brand safety. I've used Moat as well. Seeing comments here on Instagram. Thank you for sharing. So for creative messaging, it's really important to see it as part of your strategy. So it shouldn't be a standalone strategy. The beauty of programmatic media is that you're able to test those different tactics, test the different placements, and make sure you have your brand safety pre and post. I'm discovering that post brand safety is just as important than pre. And creative messages is basically, in my 10 years working in programmatic media and on campaigns, my experience, again, if you don't know me, I'm Ellen Parker, and most of my experience were 100% from the agency side and on the buy side. I was a trader for a very long time and then led teams, and now I'm training them. Every single time a creative message was, I'm going to say, not as creative or not as engaging as it should have been, the campaign did not perform. Every single time. There's not one exception. Okay. Even with brands that are well known, we've seen engagement metrics go down, such as like click-through rates, such as like number of clicks, impression counts, whatever you want to call those basic metrics, it decreases. So the whole point of adding creative messaging as a programmatic media strategy is to highlight the importance of messaging when it comes to programmatic media advertising, but also that it needs to be focused really well. Like we need to get better when it comes to creative messaging for many reasons. I mean, 2020 taught us that a lot of brands have become very creative with their messaging and how they're reaching their audiences for those particular reasons. So in recap, in the next few weeks, we're going to talk about programmatic media strategy, what to consider, how to consider it. If you're on Instagram, thank you for joining. I am sharing like a quick screen. It's basically just what I just highlighted. I'm about to highlight again about what we'll be talking. We divided programmatic media strategy into 4 different sections. So the tactics, what can you run, the placement, where can you run it, brand safety, how to protect your brand's integrity, and creative messaging, how to protect the consumer, the consumer user experience, the consumer experience. So in terms of the differences in tactics, we are going to hone in on those 4. Audience tactics, so behavioral, first, third, second party tactics, including lookalike modeling, quite a few audience behavioral audience tactics there. Location-based tactics, most strategies should have some type of location restrictions. Again, we want to be relevant, right? Depending on your messaging. But the reason why we separated this one is that there's a few location partners that I've worked with that are super bomb, and I'm going to highlight them. One of them is S4M. If you want to check them out, you can. Simplify or whatever you want to name it. There's a lot of cool location-based vendors and location-based tactics that you can add beyond the city targeting, zip code targeting. Okay, so think beyond those. Contextual targeting is very hot right now because of the third-party cookies being deprecated. We will actually be hosting a live podcast panel on contextual targeting the second week of November. More details on that. So if you're interested, tune in and follow us. And the last tactic we will talk about is native, the differences in different native placements, how to utilize native, and the type of things that you can expect for each conversation are what that tactic is, best practices when using this tactic, but also when not to use it. Okay, because all these tactics are not, you shouldn't use some of them for some KPI. So we'll review different case studies during that time. In terms of placement, we'll talk about display placements, mobile, streaming video, streaming audio. And then at the beginning, I mentioned how brand safety should be part of your strategy and almost like a requirement, like mandatory part of your strategy. So it shouldn't be like a standalone strategy. And then creative messaging goes hand in hand with all of the things we're talking about. The creative message has to be on point in order to see certain level of returns from your programmatic media advertisement or strategy. So these are the type of things we're going to talk about in the next maybe month or two. We're going to spend some time on each because I really want to highlight, like, again, pros and cons for each. And then also, as we're doing this, we'll probably have updated notes here and there, because to be very honest, there's a lot of things moving, but all of the things we're going to train on are very foundational. So even though it might be the latest contextual targeting technology out there, what we will be covering during the time you and I will be covering is very foundational. So you could use this information with your own team into the future or now. So that's all we wanted to cover today. Tune in on Tuesday. We will start by talking about tactics, audience tactics, and we'll highlight like I mentioned, we'll highlight like first and third party data. We'll highlight when to use it, when not to use it. We'll highlight the differences between behavioral versus lookalike modeling. We'll highlight best practices, and then also we'll highlight like if it makes sense for your campaign or if it doesn't make sense for your campaign. So if you have questions in terms of anything I just covered, please feel free to DM me on Instagram, send me a message on LinkedIn or on Facebook. I'm extremely responsive. You can also send me email at info@helenparker.com. So it's phonetically spelled helenparker.com. You can head out to my website. I mean, I am very, very active on social media. So thank you everybody for coming. Before we end, I just want to let you know that this whole portion was made possible by the Insertion, which is our signature offer where we trained our signature done with you programmatic training solution. It's perfect for multi six figures brands and agency partners who wants to like scale their revenue, offering programmatic media as a service while maintaining their high touch, high quality business model. Maybe you're already offering it and you just need help to scale. Maybe you're already offering it, but you scale so fast that you want to implement a sustainable operational workflow, which is something that I'm really good at and I love to do. So reach out to us if you have any questions. And also, let me just read the comments in Instagram here. Jeffrin, apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name. Creative rerun multivariate difference between target audience pain points and benefits. Yes. So if I'm understanding correctly, Jeffrin from Instagram is saying that running targeting multiple audiences needs to have multiple messaging. I agree, which is also something we'll cover during that time. So thank you so much for tuning in. Reach out to us if you have any question. We love you. We appreciate you. And with each session that we've had so far, I like to add with a word of wisdom. And my word of wisdom is going to be, what am I working on? Oh, I'm working on daily affirmations. I'm working on testing daily affirmation in my day-to-day. So it's very simple. You can probably Google daily affirmation and find a bunch of sources out there. But the reason why I'm doing that is to work on working my mindset. So we can go to the gym and work out our body, our physical health that way. But how are we doing it for our mental? How can you make sure that you're working out those brain cells in the way that you grow your mindset, you grow your mental health? So there's a few ways. Of course, I am not a doctor. I'm not a licensed therapist. So take this really with a grain of salt, see if you can implement it. But I've been doing daily affirmation for a week and it's kind of boosted my mood. I've been much more energetic from on different ends. And then it's inspiring me to even take it to the next level and eating cleaner. Not that I was eating bad, but making an extra effort, drinking more water. Like, you have no idea how a positive mindset leads into a positive attitude, which leads into positive action. So this is my word of wisdom for you. Consider doing daily affirmation, whatever that represents for you. I'm not going to tell you how. I do have some sources to share if you're interested, so I'm happy to share those. So thank you so much. It's Monday, y'all. I believe in you. You're going to kill it. This is going to be the best week ever. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Reach out if you have any questions. Bye, everyone.